Welcome to the Perfectly Honest podcast, where we talk about family relationships, social things, and our relationship with Jesus Christ and testimony. I'm Michael.
And I'm Kiahna.
And before we get into today's episode and our Perfectly Honest moments, if you are interested in what we're talking about with our new phones today, and you want to try it out for yourself, we have the affiliate link down in the description below. Or show notes. So go ahead and click that if you want to shop for these phones for yourself.
It's
but you will see.
Changer.
You will see after we talk about it today. If you want to try it out for yourself.
Okay, Michael. If I'm being perfectly honest, I just realized tonight that I turned 24 in a couple of months.
That is.
I am shocked.
I was 24 when we first met. Yes. Yep. Because
I thought
you
turned 24. After we got married, right after we got married.
Oh, I turned 24. Yeah, right. So are you the age that we first met, basically?
Yeah, I am.
Like, basically right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so odd.
That's weird. I can't imagine having to have waited this long
to
meet the love of my life. Well, because I was 21 when we met. I was a little baby, but I felt old.
Yeah. I mean, she was even more mature than I was. So, that definitely helps. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'm getting ready for school to start next week. Yeah.
First day of school.
Yeah, first day of school for me. So that's really exciting for me. I'm excited to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited that you're going to stick with college a little longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer. That should be fun. It was kind of on a whim. I just kind of signed up for classes this week and was like, okay, I'm starting.
I'm doing school again.
Not the first time I've done that. So, sometimes I do that. Okay, so today we're going to talk about what we did. We got rid of our smartphones.
Whoa!
And I don't really want to call them dumb phones because, they're not like so dumb.
I know. See that? Okay, this is what's tricky. So I was searching for a flip phone. Right? I wanted a flip phone so bad that just was like so basic. And it was impossible to find just a basic flip phone.
I know. We went through so many, we went through two phones.
I literally bought two different phones.
Yeah. And
they still had internet and Facebook, and they were huge. I think I already shared that on the podcast.
Yeah, so they were
ginormous.
Well, and when you were going through it, it was like, this feels so cluttery. It doesn't feel like it's a solution to anything. Because we wanted to kind of detox. Especially Kiahna, she wanted to start with. I mean, she barely was using her smartphone.
Wait, okay. So maybe let's talk about the reasons then.
Yeah, let's start there. Let's start there.
Okay, so Homegirl has been against social media pretty much since I was 17. I vividly remember the point in time where I was like, Instagram is the stupidest thing ever. Social media is so dumb. Why does anyone use it? It just makes people feel bad about themselves. And I just was so against it. I was like, I'm never using social media again, And that fire kind of continued with me. And then I saw that social media is a necessary evil, except I shouldn't see it that way. Elder Bednar gave a really good talk about how social media is a tool to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
And I'm I need to think of it more in that light. That it's
well, that's what we're trying to do with the podcast too.
Right. So. And obviously we're utilizing social media now to promote messages of Christ in our podcast. Anyways, so I always hated social media. And then I started to see how much smartphones themselves were designed just to trap you. Just suck all your time and attention and constantly keep you mind numbed in a way.
Right.
And as a new mom, I got super overstimulated.
Yes.
From just my phone. I'd pick up my smartphone to respond to a text. But then there'd be a bunch of different notifications, a bunch of things to text, a bunch of things to check, a bunch of, I don't know, just things grabbing my attention.
It's just notifications. Every time you open up, it's okay, let's go through the list.
Yeah. And I've heard it described as a gambling machine, the slot machine effect.
Yeah.
When you pick up your phone, you're either going to get something or you're not going to get something. Or you're going to get bad news or you're going to get good news, right? You're going to get a text from that boy you liked, or you're going to get a text from your mom reminding you to take out the trash. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just this dramatic effect to having a smart device of,
well, it's
what's going to be on it when I pick it up and turn it on?
Right. And there's kind of this desire like to connect, to not be bored.
Yes.
Like, so there's like a couple of things that pull you in, right? Because it's kind of like like when you got something in the mail, like growing up, right? Or like you got an email or something. Because like, at least for those of us old enough, like before it was just constantly in our face. Yes. Like we had, there was a lot of novelty that came with like, oh, someone sent me something in the mail.
Totally.
And that's still there, actually, funny enough. But we kind of still have that. But like you have so many meaningless interactions that like when you finally have a good one, you're like, oh, that's what I have my smartphone for.
That's what I've been searching for.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a side thought. Can I share some of the, or do you have any more that you want to share?
I think that was like pretty much it. And I don't want to say like, oh, doomsday to all smart devices and smartphones, like they suck, because I can see that they do a lot of good, and like we as a society have come such a long way. It's amazing that we even have little tiny computers in our pockets, right?
Yeah.
They are amazing and miraculous that we've gotten to this point.
Right.
I'm just saying, for me, it was very overwhelming.
Right.
And that's why I wanted a different option.
Right. So both of us had like personal reasons.
Yeah.
So it was just like, which this is really funny. When we were getting these phones, our new phones, like people were like starting to like defend their smartphones around us.
Oh yeah. That happened left and right. Because we're like, oh yeah, we're going to get dumb phones. And then
like, oh, well, you know, I couldn't get rid of my smartphone.
I can't get rid of smartphone.
We're like, that's fine. Like, we're not telling you to get rid of your smartphone.
It was so funny because I can't get rid of it because of X, Y, and Z. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, I wasn't telling you to get rid of your smartphone. I'm just saying that we're doing this.
Yeah. Like, it was like, we're doing this, like, for our own personal reasons. And we would share those because it'd be like, oh, yeah, like, you know. So, like, my personal reasons are, I was spending a lot of time. It was really funny because Kiahna and I both had, like, timers on our phones. And, like, hers was, like, even before we got our new phones, hers was like, oh, I spent 15 minutes on my phone today. And mine was like, 4 hours again, you know?
That was your average, probably.
Yeah, I think my average was probably like 3.5, 4 hours. Now, you know, sometimes it'd be like, oh, because I'm listening to podcasts or like whatever. Like, you know, but I was looking at that and I was like, man, I've just been scrolling today. And so it was just like, it's just an easy way to be like, you know, I'm kind of done. You know, like I'm ready to not be so overwhelmed because like I've got a lot of things to deal with in my mind, let alone, you know, like work to do for the family. And I was like, I need those 4 hours back.
Yes, absolutely.
So like that was a big thing for me. And I think I really believe in forward moves instead of away moves. Like I didn't, like I am happy to move away from the smartphone, and we've been really happy with this transition. But I think that for us, it was really moving towards like getting time back, moving towards clarity of mind, like those kind of things.
Yeah, just more stillness, being present. Yeah. I like that picture of moving towards something instead of, oh, we're getting rid of all of these things in our life.
Because otherwise it wouldn't be effective.
No.
Like we would have just crawled back to our smartphones. And that's what happens a lot with these phones. Like I've heard people online like, I tried this phone for a month.
Okay, let's introduce what we got.
Let's talk about that.
So I was saying, I was like looking for a dumb phone, could not find like a decent option. It was so lame, so annoying. I was like, why do they not just make a good dumb phone anymore?
Yeah.
And then Michael was doing his research because you wanted good texting abilities on a dumb phone.
Yes. I was like, I don't want to have like, because I have to text a lot, you know, for like work and different things. So I was like, I don't want to have the, what is it? The little
the
like
T9
that's what it is.
Keyboard.
I don't want that. I was like, I need
that would take you ages.
But they don't even have the slide phones. At least they're so expensive now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were struggling for options.
Yeah, we were looking for options, and one night Michael was sitting on the toilet scrolling on his smartphone on Amazon,
doing my thing, you know, that we're trying to move away from towards something new.
And he stumbled on this phone called a light phone. And we were like, what? What is that? That's so cool. And he pulled up like the little trailer that they have posted about their phone. And I kid you guys not, this phone is, what, 3 inches?
It is really small. It might be... here, I got a ruler.
Yeah, measure it. It's a very small device.
It's hold on. It's 3.5 inches long, 2 inches wide.
It's a very small device.
It's tiny.
The screen is like a Kindle screen. It's called what? Like an e-ink?
Yeah, e-ink or like paper screen.
Yes.
Yeah. It's touchscreen though.
It's a touchscreen. But yeah, well, Kindles are touchscreen too.
Oh yeah, the newer ones are. Yeah.
And it has call, text, and then here's where it gets really exciting. It has podcasts, music, and directions. And then like calculator,
calculator, notes.
But I think that's the max tools that you can have on your phone.
Oh, it does have a hotspot.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is nice too.
But that is all you can download. Like that is the max amount of tools you can download onto your phone. There's no app store. You can't download apps. There's no internet.
Right.
It's just a phone with a few extra perks that we were like, oh, like I don't want to give up listening to my podcast. Oh, now we don't. Oh, how are we going to get places? We need directions. And I will say the directions are a little spotty on this phone.
They're pretty spotty, but like they work.
Yeah.
You know, like they do generally work. So, and that's the thing is like, I would spend a lot of time on my phone because I'm pretty obsessive. Like that's something that's in my nature, like OCD, ADD, all this stuff. So like I'm just constantly trying to like not be bored, and so I'd just be downloading apps, you know. And there's no temptation to because I've downloaded all of the apps on both of our phones.
Yeah, that we can possibly have.
Like it's the most, and like you still have to go on your computer to like look up the podcast. Like they've really made it like as simple as can be, but it isn't really nice. Like it functions really well.
Yes.
I use the podcast feature on it all the time, actually. I still use it daily, and that's like really awesome. And there is even like an option for music. You can just download music on there too. I've used that a little bit too.
Yeah.
So it's a really, really cool device. And I've loved it.
Yeah.
Like I've loved using it compared to having the smartphone. Like I've had like when we first got it, I was telling Kiahna, I was like, I'm so bored.
And I was like, awesome. Good.
Yeah, I was like, this is so cool because like I'm not trying to run from being bored.
No.
Like I'm trying to be bored. I'm trying to, you know, have more time.
Well, because all of a sudden you have all this time to like actually process or actually decide how you want to spend your free time.
Yeah.
Instead of having it like handed to you.
Yeah.
And I love that. And what we've also noticed with these phones is that we don't really think about them all the time.
No.
Like if it's in my pocket, sometimes I forget it's there. Whereas if you have a
because it's so small too. Yeah.
But if you have like a smartphone in your pocket, I feel like there's this itch to pull it out and check it, and check it, right?
Yes, there is.
Like it's kind of nice just to forget that you even have a phone sometimes.
I know. Well, I'll say this though. I do get shadow checking. Like I do check my light phone a lot. And I check it. I'm like, oh yeah, there's nothing on here.
Yeah.
You know, for me to do. And it's nice. Like it tells me every single time I think, oh yeah, there's nothing to check. Or it's just like the only notification you can get on the phone is a little asterisk next to
the time.
So you're like, okay, I know there's a notification if not, then it's like no notifications.
And the only notifications you receive are if you have a text or a call.
Yeah.
Like we don't even have email on our phone.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just love the simplicity of it. So if you're curious, definitely go to, is it lightphone or light.com?
Yeah. No, click our affiliate link.
Oh, click our link.
That's what you should do.
That's what you should do.
Because then you can help us grow.
Well, you can also just...
And we're not sponsored by them. We are affiliated now. That's really fun.
You can just look through their website and they have like their videos posted.
So yeah, you can check that out.
Yeah.
You can check that out on the website or go on YouTube or whatever. And a lot of people have reviews too. We just want to say that we have loved it.
Yes.
So far.
It has been just a wonderful, wonderful transition for our
Yeah.
family.
Now we're still transitioning out of our smartphones a little bit.
Yeah.
We still have them because we just do. We need to actually wipe them and sell them. And I was using my phone to take backpacking so I can get footage instead of taking the DSLR.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like working through that. There is a downside with that. You don't have a camera. However, I've loved the new camera that we've got.
Yeah,
so like we've made the changes that we've needed to. It's an adjustment.
Totally.
So and it's not as convenient, to like look things up.
But what I love that I've noticed about that, okay, so as a new mom, I hate that I use that phrase all the time because I'm
As a
like
new mom.
I'm like not even like that new of a mom anymore. He's like a year and a half.
Yeah, you're still new.
Anyways, you like always think that like something's wrong with your baby, or like
Yeah.
you just want to consult the internet for whatever random questions you have about motherhood, parenting, your child. And so I would constantly just be, oh, is this normal?
Yeah.
Well, especially in like the new mom phase. But now I have so many questions that cross my mind that I'm like, oh, maybe I'll look that up. And then by the end of the night, when I'm like hopping onto the computer or the laptop, I don't remember it anymore.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't important, and it did not need to take up
Yeah.
the time it would have if I had just sat down, looked it up, filled my mind with some like random knowledge.
Right. Yep. Well, and like something I've been doing too is like I'll write down things to look up sometimes.
Oh, really?
Like if I think it's really important,
Yeah.
or but even then, like sometimes I'll go through my list and I'm like, I actually don't want to look that up anymore.
Yeah, you're like, I actually don't
Like
really
I'd rather
care.
spend my time doing something else, like while I'm on the computer. So, but yeah, so we are adjusting. We'll probably like just to like make things kind of work the way that we want them to. We'll probably get like a tablet or something.
Yeah.
Like just so we can like run our podcast. But even then, like we've been doing just fine on our computer.
I
It's
will
just kind of
say-
like to be convenient when we need it.
Yeah. Well, because posting on Instagram via a laptop or a computer is actually more challenging than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Especially posting reels. And so I think having a tablet would definitely help us with the social media
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, we don't really want to use it for like all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Like we just want to, and you might ask, okay, why is this different than just having a smartphone? Like both you having a smartphone then versus just like having a tablet. But it's like, we're just, maybe just doing something to like share, so that we're in a place where it's like, okay, it's not just constantly in our pocket. It's not
No.
constantly giving us feedback, but when we're ready to go to it, it's there, So, that's kind of where we're like, okay, maybe we'll get a tablet for that. So there's some adjustments there, that we've had to make a little bit. But yeah, it is really funny, like how many people ask you to look stuff up, and you're like,
Yes. Okay,
you're
that's
like,
what I was
don't
going to
have
say.
a phone.
I'll say like the thing I've noticed the most is like when you're in a social situation and someone says, "Oh, can you look that up?"
Yeah.
Or you're in a car and someone says like, "Oh, can you pull up directions?"
Yeah.
Or someone take a picture of that. Those are the three things that I notice the most.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to like opt out of that. Sometimes be like, "Oh, I can't look it up."
Yeah, like I can't. It was really funny. Like the other night we were all like sitting around playing a game, and everyone's like, "We need to have the app to play this game." Like we were all sitting around the table,
yeah.
and everyone looked at me and was like, "Hey, can you go get your old phone?" Because they know I have it. I'm like, I'm looking at 4 people who have phones in their pockets. They're like, I just don't want to download it. I'm like, you're asking me to go to the other room and then download it, But it was just really funny because it's like, in social, like sometimes there's social pressure. I'm really happy to be out of it.
Yes.
I'm happy to say like,
Sayonara.
yeah, like I'm done with that. So, I think probably in the next few weeks we'll have sold our phones or given it away or whatever
Yeah.
we're gonna do, or our old smartphones.
Yeah.
So, okay, one thing I want to talk about before we moved on is I wanted to talk about like what we've learned,
Oh yeah. That's
so
good.
like that you can apply to like your own situation. Like if you still have a smartphone, You know, maybe there's some things that we've picked up and learned that might still be helpful for our audience.
Okay.
So, you know, because we don't expect everyone to go get it. Like, this was personal reasons for us.
Yes,
So
yeah.
if you think you share some of the same personal reasons, then we say go for it. But
Yeah.
if not, then that's fine. We're not,
Yeah.
you know, we're not thinking twice about it.
You do you.
So what do you think?
That time is fleeting.
Yeah.
I think that's what I've noticed the most.
So explain that.
Okay. Our time here on Earth is very short, and especially when you have young kids, you notice how much they grow and change every single day.
Yeah.
And sometimes we live very distractedly, whether that's smartphones, whether that's work, whether that's school. We're just so focused on other things that we aren't really looking at the people that are right in front of us.
Yeah.
But when we're able to just clear our minds and live less distracted, like being in the beauty of the moment is something that you'll never regret,
Yeah.
right? That would be one of my biggest takeaways.
Yeah. I think similarly, I would say just be open to interacting
Yeah.
you know, with those around you. So kind of the same thing that Kiahna was saying. I do look around, like, because sometimes I, like, in social settings, like, already, and, like, the people around me don't even realize. But, like, everyone will jump on their phones. And then I just sit there and I just, like, look at them because, like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, I could look at my light phone and press the buttons a couple times.
And
to,
realize
like,
that there's nothing to do.
like, go through the screens or whatever. But yeah, like, so, like I would just say, like, put your phone down, put it on
Yeah.
silent. Like,
Yeah.
it does not matter as much as you think it does. Like, your phone really does not. So, like, get out of that mindset, you know, like, stop trying to, like, be ahead of the curve on everybody, because guess what? We're in the, I don't know, probably tail end of the information age. I don't know, going into the AI age or whatever.
Oh, spooky.
But like, you know, like, you just don't need to be ahead of the curb.
Yeah.
You know, like,
True.
like, I haven't felt behind at all. In fact, I've felt ahead because in my personal interactions, I feel ahead.
Yeah.
So just like, remember that. Like, focus on your personal interactions. Don't focus on your phone.
Yeah.
Like, and you've probably heard that so many times, and people are always like, put down your phones. But, like, just really recognize that it doesn't matter, whatever's on there, you know?
That's so true.
So, you know, if you're getting an emergency call, then you'll hear it.
Yes.
So,
Keep your volume on.
you know, I don't know, set up a special ringtone for that or something. So you're like, I know it's a call or a text. Everything else is just a ding.
Yeah.
Can I get into the spiritual thought?
Go for it.
Okay, so this is out of the Book of Mormon. And this was kind of like a little bit going along with the experience, maybe in a more spiritual way for me, I think. Because it was kind of like turning from materialism and turning
Yes.
towards God. Once again, moving towards something instead of away. I mean, whenever you're moving towards something, you're moving away from something, but
Right.
focus on where you're going and not what you're leaving behind.
Yes.
Right? So this is Jacob 2 verses, I'll read 18 and 19. These are so awesome. So out of the Book of Mormon. It says, but before ye seek for riches, seek ye for the kingdom of God. And after ye have obtained a hope in Christ, ye shall obtain riches, if ye seek them. And I always thought that was interesting, because I was like, okay, when he says riches the second time, is he meaning temporal or spiritual? I think it could mean both.
Yeah.
But he's just saying, once you've obtained a hope in Christ, he's basically saying, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
you know? If you seek them, then sure, you know, but your foundation is better, right? Actually, it's perfect. And ye will seek them for the intent to do good, to clothe the naked, and to feed the hungry, and to liberate the captive, and to administer relief to the sick and the afflicted. So anyway, I think that there is some temporal there, now that you kind of read that. But, you know, I think that either way is just saying, like, you will have what you need if you put your hope in Christ.
Yeah.
And when you have what you need, you will be given what you need to give more back. Especially in today, you know, the riches of just emotional health can greatly benefit those who are not.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think just kind of to add something there of reference to our day, because this was given in the context of King Benjamin's time.
Yes.
or maybe not King Benjamin's, of Jacob's time. So, yeah, just wanted to share that with you.
I'm so glad that you did. Something that God has really been speaking to me and like reprimanding me for kind of is, I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel this way, that like as a human race, we're constantly looking for solutions to our problems.
Yeah.
And I know I'm so guilty of this, even with like making the shift from a smartphone to the light phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is life changing.
Yeah.
I just want to tell everyone about it because it has so greatly improved my life. Or if Michael and I are making like some health change.
This is like where self-help books come
yes,
from too, right?
Right. And I think it's so natural, like we want to improve our lives. But it is so easy to get caught up in looking for solutions when we have already been given the solution. Yes. And that is our Savior, Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
And everything else, all of our other attempts can just be so prideful.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's, look at how great I am.
Right.
Look at how great my knowledge is and my quest for knowledge and my experiences.
Right.
And when we're able to step back and be like, whoa, like this wasn't me. God will lead me to knowledge that I need. Christ will lead me to solutions.
Yes.
If we let him. But when we are so like in our own heads about, oh, I'm going to find the next great thing to solve everyone's issues. Like it's all about us, and that is not going to bring us happiness. That is not the solution.
Well, it just goes back to like, what are you moving towards?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Like, you know, it's like a solution is good if it's moving you somewhere and not away from something.
Yes.
I want to share just really quick before we end. I am an improv coach for high schoolers, and the coach I'm an assistant for, he's been doing improv for like 20 years. And sometimes we get into bad habits, like in groups settings, because it's like, oh, we try a solution for a little while to like help with a certain group dynamic, and then they take that as like, this is the way to do it, the new way.
Yes.
Right? And so that's happened before. We played a game called Ball, and it's literally just like you're tossing a ball in the air and you're counting as a group, like how many times you slap it in the air.
Yeah, it's like keepy uppy, right?
Yeah, basically. It really is. And so we're standing in a circle, and the group says, oh, do you want us to like not stand in a circle, like stand in like a group so that we can all kind of like toss it up like a beach ball or whatever. And our coach was like, no, like I'd rather not do that. And they're like, oh, well, and the group was like, oh, well, it'll be helpful. And he's like, the point of this is not to see how, you know, like how well we can really do at this. And he's like, and something in your brain, and he even said, this is funny that you were mentioning this. He said, something in your brain is trying to solve a problem.
Yes.
But there's no problem yet. We just haven't started. We just need to play. He says, I want you to focus less on solving a problem and being more aware. That's what he said.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And it was really good. And so in a circle, we did this, right? And maybe we would have done better in a mixed and mingled group. But that wasn't the point. The point wasn't to do the best we can. The point was to be focused as a group together and to work towards a goal together and to be more aware, to become something greater yourself than just being another body in the midst, right? So
that was so good. Well, thanks for joining us for this episode, you guys. We were really excited to share this news, I guess, with everyone, that we're getting rid of our smartphones because it's a fun shift.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow along with us, you know where to find us on Instagram, follow along on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.